Testing, testing, testing. Testing, 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 testing.
We live? Good morning. We'll start the Tuesday, May 26th council meeting. We'll bring that to order. We'll start with the agenda. Additions to the agenda, I have one I would like to do before the Division 5 councillor. Under 4.4, I'd like to put or discuss railway crossing stop signs. Councillor Cunningham.
So the Reeves Day wouldn't be complete unless I did a Division 5 update under council and committee reports, please.
5.5?
That'd be 9.1.
9.1? Any other additions? Councillor Hopkins?
Seeing none, I will approve agenda as amended.
Any discussion? All in favor? Carried. The approval of the minutes, any errors or omissions that you've noticed on the May 12th, 2026 meeting minutes? Councillor Olson?
Don't see any, so I make the motion council approves the addition, the regular council meeting minutes as presented.
Any discussion? All in favor? Carried. Okay, we'll get into the appointments. Wimborne Community Center. We'll start with that one, 3.1.
When you're ready to talk. Do I have to?
Good morning. We'll start with some introductions, and we'll start with my right.
Good morning. Thanks for coming. Laura Lee Michelle Cunningham, Division 5.
Lonnie McCook, Division 7. Thanks.
Good morning, Richard Hoppins, Division 6.
Lowell Olson, Division 4.
Darcy Petter, Division 2.
Okay. Good morning. I'm Dorothy Weimer, the Secretary of the Wimborne Community Center, and this is Mark Goodbrand, who has been the supervisor and main volunteer of our renovation projects. If I'm just gonna leave that one on. Okay. On behalf of the Wimborne Community Center, we thank the Kneehill County for the support we've received in the past, which has assisted us in updating and improving our community center. Prior to 2026, we had completed a number of major renovations on the upstairs facilities. The facility was made wheelchair friendly, the kitchen cabinetry was replaced, all the flooring except the original hardwood floor was replaced, the carpet and panel boards on the walls was replaced with drywall, acoustic tile and soundboards were installed, and the entrance lobby was enlarged, as well as energy efficient lighting was installed, and the walls were insulated where possible. In 2024, we began looking at modernizing the Wimborne Community Center downstairs facility. This space is used at least 5 days a week, all year long, as it houses the Canada Post Office, a community gathering center for morning coffee and small group meetings, a library, and a fitness center. We applied for the federal New Horizons for Seniors grant and heard back in 2025 July that we were not receiving money through them. Although the project was deemed worthy, there was not sufficient funding available. But our organization decided we'd proceed with the plans for the downstairs renovations with the hope that we would receive money through the Kneehill Rural Hall Capital Grant and applied as soon as the application date opened in January. By the middle of January, excuse me, we had the Bowden Institution work crew booked for 3 weeks of volunteer labor. The plans were in the works and the community volunteers were free to donate their time, which is because of winter time. A number of our fellows are farmers and January is a great time for them to be available. Although the project was deemed worthy, oh no, I'm sorry, lost. We learned that our application through the county would not be reviewed until March at the earliest, so after speaking with county administration and Richard Hoppins, we were told there would be the possibility to apply for the grant retroactively, so the work began. We sent out donation requests and filled in application forms for corporate sponsorship, but to date have only received $450. We were fortunate, though, to have a very energetic and willing group of board members, and in the past 7 months we've held several fundraisers, a Christmas market, a New Year's Eve celebration, a 50-50 draw, a garage sale, a quarter of beef raffle, and we worked a casino. On July 1st, we will be holding a celebration which we work hard at making affordable to families, and this includes lawnmower races, money dig for the kids, face painting, and a children's performer, at all for free. But by the end of April, this just past April, our downstairs renovations were complete, and we were very proud of this transformation. The Wimborne Community Center has spent $34,255.14 on these renovations, which has put us into a financial strain, but we're very happy with the completed project, and over 1,000 hours were volunteered to complete this project. We'd love for you to come and tour our newly renovated facility, but in the meantime, I have some photos for you to compare the before and after of these spaces. It is really quite amazing, the transformation, okay, now Carolyn, we've got the before of the library space. And down in this area, okay, this is the one that we'll start with here. This is sort of what began the whole coffee room. The before picture, that's the only sink that was available, so that they made coffee with that sink. It was in the furnace room, and quite, bathroom was not a great highlight, but it was a huge consideration, and the more people we had using the coffee space and meeting facility, that didn't meet any kind of standards. So afterwards is the finished bathroom. If we go down, is the next one, oh, the fitness center. Let's go one more. I think we've got them there. The before picture, that is what was the coffee room. It was before that, I think, the gun range, and then when that came out of Wimborne, they put this in. It just kind of fell together by bits and pieces. A few people starting wanting to meet for coffee in the morning, and now there can be up to 18 people there, and a regular group of about 12 from the area, and it's right connected to the Canada Post Office, so we have a lot of just drop-in people that'll just stick their head in, say hi, how are things this morning. New people that come to the Canada Post will come over and they'll talk to, most of the people that meet in the coffee are the seniors that can tell them a bit of history about the town, what's available. They'll, who do you get your power from, and what's the best internet supplier, and that kind of stuff. So it's a good communication space, just because of its location right next to the post office, so anyone can come in. But so unfortunately, because of the design of the building, we weren't able to expand it width-wise. So it still makes a pretty long, narrow space, but much more welcoming, well, it's warmer for sure, and a lot friendlier looking. And at the end of the after picture, you can kind of see the small little kitchen unit that has its own now sink for making food and, well, cleaning up coffee and whatnot. Is that the last one, Carolyn, then maybe? Okay, yeah. So the fitness center, that had begun, I think that's how the coffee room actually began. It first began, thank you. Just some gals getting together and thinking, oh, let's get together. So they had videos and CDs and whatever up on there, and then they've got some exercise equipment that was donated to them from various people that had coat hangers hanging around in their house instead and put them there. But it was a very active space for a while. It hadn't been that active in the last little while, but now we've got a younger generation looking at coming in to use this facility now that we've broadened it out, made it nice and bright and light, and hopefully we will be able to get some more involvement of younger people in there as well. And the library was kind of just it kept evolving, I think, with more shelves being donated and more books being donated, but we kind of decided to downsize it, make it more user-friendly, I guess, might be the thing. And so we did out a lot of books and made it a smaller, more cozy little area with lighting and also a little area where you could go in and just have a chat with one or two people if you wanted to do so. So that is how the area has transformed, and we would appreciate any assistance financially that we could, and also if you'd like to come and visit us, it's always every weekday open from 9:30 to 11:30 if you want to have some good stories with some old farmers or some young people, or and I think there's Chase the Ace on Friday mornings. Just if you have any questions for either myself or Mark.
Yeah, quick question. How much has Kneehill County contributed to this project so far? Do you have that?
I do have that. Just let me quickly find that. So since 2017, we gave $3,000 to replace the furnace. 2019, we paid $5,000 to sand their floors. 2022, $2,500 for new countertops. 2024, we provided $17,750 for renovation cost. 2025, we provided the play school for new flooring at $4,100, and again in 2025, $6,600 for renovation costs. So brings a total of $39,000.
Any other questions? Councillor Cunningham?
So I'd just like to say that we'll send the Reeve for the lawnmower races. I think that would be good entertainment, but no, I know the last term we had one of our ratepayer meetings at the Wimborne Community Center, and I hadn't been there for a long time, so it was quite interesting to see all the work that you folks have done. And as we know, and as you mentioned, like, this is kind of the hub of the community, and coffees and people visiting, and I mean, that's what we want to see. And the important thing to me, that what I heard you say, was there's 1,000 volunteer hours that have been put into that. So that to me shows that you folks are really engaged in that project and willing to give of your time as well. So yeah, it looks great. So good work. Keep it up.
If it wasn't for the volunteers that we have, there is no way that we could pay that labor, because that would just made it astronomical. And we are most fortunate to have Mark as our main man push and supervisor with the talents that he has as well.
Councillor Hoppins?
Thanks for the presentation, and I have seen the transformation of the renovations over the years, and it looks great. I haven't been in lately to check out the newest renovations, but I always like to see when there's lots of volunteer hours. I think sometimes we underestimate how many hours we actually put in for a project such as this, and I think it's great to see our little community halls thriving. So, thank you.
I guess too, what was amazing was, I think when I counted up the various different people, there's at least 14 different people who have volunteered time towards this part of this project. And so it's, some put in way more than others, but there are a lot of hands helped out in various different ways. So
How much are you asking for?
we would love to get $20,000, which was the number that was chosen just before your grant restructuring, was what the rural hall capital grant amount was.
Any other questions?
Yeah, we're good.
Thank you very much for your presentation.
Okay, thank
Appreciate
you very
it.
much for hearing us.
Thanks for coming.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah, let's go to 4.1. Don Ferguson gravel request. Go ahead, Mike.
Good morning, Council. So at the March 12th Committee of the Whole, administration presented information regarding development of an undeveloped road allowance. Following that, the ratepayer presented as well. From that meeting, at the April 21st Committee of the Whole meeting, Council directed administration to have the road committee review the site and bring back an RFD for Council's consideration regarding potential supply of gravel for that road. On April 27th, Road Committee completed the site inspection. From there, it was determined how long the road would be, how wide it would be. So following that, approximately 675 tones would be required to construct the proposed road. So Mr. Ferguson has indicated that he would, in his letter, that he would be responsible for hauling the material from our pit. So the closest pit that we have that we would be able to supply from would be the the Hiller stockpile, sorry. We have gravel, the Gallagher gravel sitting there. Kneehill County would have to provide an operator and a loader to load that and properly track inventory. In addition, in that letter, Mr. Ferguson also requested the county supply 2 culverts as part of the road construction. He did call on May 4th and let us know that he was no longer needing those culverts, so that is no longer part of this RFD. So the financial and staffing implications. The cost of the gravel for the project estimated at 675 tones. Currently, that gravel is sold to ratepayers at $19 per ton. So the total estimated cost for Kneehill County would be $12,825. The costs associated with the loader and operator would be covered under the day-to-day operations budget of Transportation Department. So council has a few options that administration's put together. The council approved the supply of the 675 tons of gravel, of Gallagher gravel from the Hiller stockpile to support the development. The council approved the supply of approximately 675 tons of gravel with the cost of $19 per ton, or council request or deny the request to supply the gravel and culverts and direct administration to have that access development on the landowner. So,
Thanks, Mike. A couple questions.
yes.
19 bucks a ton for that stuff is unbelievable, as everyone knows. I mean, I thought we were gonna we should be discussing that too. The ratepayers already paid for this once.
Yeah.
Like, it should be down to like half of that to get rid of this stuff as soon as we can, because it's no good for anything else. And-
Sorry.
Go ahead.
That's our next RFD.
Okay.
It's next on the
Okay.
agenda.
All right, all right. No, we don't, just a question, we don't carry, or we have no excess or used culvert in inventory, correct?
That is correct at the
Are we
time.
not, are we not saving any?
We do, through the chair, we do save them as they come out of projects if they're salvageable. We have a list of ongoing people that call in, put their names on a list for a certain size. If we get that size, we let them know. Virtually, once we get a stockpile, if it's been a year of them sitting there, kind of that Christmas time, whenever we get some spare time, we crush them up, put them in the metal bin, and start over for the next year. So there usually is a waiting list of people who want any random size. So we do give those away to ratepayers when we have them available.
Okay, like years ago, we used to charge them $1 a foot for used culverts, and everybody's looking for culverts now, because to buy a new one,
Yeah.
oof. I think when we looked at this, I mean, Don's gone to a lot of work and built his road, Merle, and I mean, that was all on him. There was no access into that quarter, so, you know, as far as I'm concerned, I think we should give him that.
way, because we couldn't use it, any of the existing right-of-ways, it did lengthen the amount of road to make the access. It had to come in with a suitable turnoff off the 575 to get down there. It extended, originally what he wanted to do was fix up the coulee, which would have been about less than half a mile. Now it's, I think just very close to a mile. And it's because of meeting these requirements.
Councillor Olson?
Yeah, I think because of the storied past with regards to this access and what the county's done in the past, I think there is some obligation here for this project. This doesn't look like it's affecting budget because this is in our stockpile right now. It's been paid for, so that's not affecting the budget at all. Is that correct?
Through the chair, that is correct. It would just be coming out of inventory, and then the loader and operator would just come out of day-to-day operations budget, so.
Councillor Hopkins?
I guess for myself, I'm just thinking through this process and the whole situation, and I do have some concerns that I know this is a one-off situation with a long history. And in the future, if somebody was to come forward for something similar to this, would we be prepared to potentially supply much better gravel for free? I'm just playing a bit of a devil's advocate down the road,
Yeah.
you know, so we've got to look at all the options, and I'm still not sure where I sit.
Councillor Cunningham?
Yeah, Councillor Hopkins, I feel the same way. I mean, I'm in favor of this, but I guess I'm just wondering if we're setting a precedent. And I'm wondering how we will determine, are we just going to do it on a case-by-case basis? Or is there, I know Ms. Vanderkool loves policy, so would there be a possibility that we need to develop a policy for this? Or are we just going to do it on a case-by-case basis?
My thought would be a case-by-case basis, because very seldom do these come forth, you know, but every now and then they do. And as far as what makes this one easier, as far as I'm concerned, is the quality of the gravel. I'm not sure I'd be in favor of putting out 420 spec gravel. That's good for free. Yeah. But
Through the chair, so we do have a policy for developing undeveloped road allowances, right? So this one's a little different as it is a private road. Kneehill County does not own this asset at all. This is Mr. Ferguson's to maintain. We don't touch it once at all, so that would be the difference on that. So in the undeveloped road allowance policy, the landowners or whoever would be developing that right away would be responsible for supplying the gravel to that spec of road that they are building.
Councillor Penner?
I guess my comment would be much along the lines of Deputy Reeve Hoppins and also Councillor Cunningham. I'm not sure that we would want to put zero value on the product that we would make available to Mr. Ferguson, just from the standpoint of what that sets as a precedent. But I think we could come to a suitable value for it that maybe he would find acceptable, and at that point, then I would agree that it would make sense to move this product.
Councillor Olson?
Yeah, I don't like setting precedences either, and I do agree with Councillor Penner that there is a value to this product. Obviously, he's building this road with it, so I mean, I would say it's not worth anything, because we still use this product for things like that as well. Is that correct?
Through the chair, that is correct. our next RFD, I guess I may have put them in the wrong order, could go a little more in depth on this and kind of answer the cost questions. So I'm not sure if council would like to maybe postpone this one and go jump to 4.2 and come back after that RFD is gone through.
Yeah, but again, I'll go back to that, the storied past and everything else. I mean, I see this as a real one-off. This is, I hope we don't have these storied past situations where the county was paying part access and different things, you know, along the way. So I agree that I think this is a one-off situation that we need to look at as that, not staying away from the precedent, though.
You guys want to table this until we look at something else, or do you want to? My thought is Don, you know what, the county hasn't done anything. I mean, this is a one-off thing. We used to pay for it. It could have been a lot more than this for access. I mean, as far as I know, there's only about 2 other places that I can remember that we have done this. So, I mean, I'm in favor of giving it to him for free on this because of the amount of dollars he's went in and spent on his own access to that land. Councillor Anderson?
Because of the quality of the road, he is building it to a quality of standard that later on, there possibly, and I'm not saying there will be, but he did mention when he first wanted to build the road, he wanted to build it at a quality that if that land was to be sold or if somebody could build on it, the county would get that $12,000 back fairly fast in future taxes. He's building this road not at a cheap standard. He's not just putting a trail across. It's a 21-foot top. He's building it for the possibility that somewhere down the road there will be a possible development in that area and can be done because the road won't restrict it.
Councillor Olson?
Yeah, I guess then with the discussion, I prefer to deal with it now than later. So I would make the motion that council approve the supply of approximately 675 tons of Gallagher gravel from the Hiller stockpile to support the development of access southwest 19, 29, 22 west of 4.
Any discussion, further discussion? Councillor Penner?
Just a confirmation then, when we talk about the motion in that form, then we're putting 0 value on the product? Okay.
Any other questions? All in favor of the motion? Carried. Opposed? Okay, thanks. We're gonna go to the gravel sales cost now, Mike. Sorry for jumping the gun there. Oh,
Sorry.
pardon me.
We have an appointment at 9 o'clock.
Sorry.
Turn on. Okay.
Good morning. We'll do some presentations and we'll start with on my right.
Thanks for coming. Laura Michelle Cunningham, Division 5.
Lonnie McCook, Division 7.
Good morning, Richard Hoppins, Division 6.
Yeah, good morning, Lowell Olson, Division 4.
Good morning, Christina. Darcy Penner, Division 2.
Yeah, we have, you're up right now on.
All right. Well, good morning, everybody, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak with you today. My name is Christine Coggins, and I manage the Linden Lodge in Linden. I truly appreciate your time, and I'm here to share with you about who we are, what we do, and to respectfully request your support for an important repair project. The Linden Lodge exists because of the vision and determination of local residents. Back in 1988, a group of citizens in Linden recognized a growing need. They saw that as they aged, many would be forced to leave the community they loved if they required assisted living. Their families, their friendships, their churches, and their social lives were all rooted in Linden, and they didn't want to give that up. So they formed the Linden Benevolent Society for Seniors, a nonprofit organization with a clear mission to provide room and board for seniors who are functionally independent with access to community-based supports. What makes this especially remarkable is how they did it. They built the Linden Lodge without government funding or loans, relying entirely on community investment and donations. The 48-unit Linden Lodge is truly a reflection of community spirit. Today, the Linden Lodge continues to operate in that same spirit of stewardship and care. We provide comfortable, safe accommodations, delicious, high-quality meals, and a warm, supportive social environment at some of the lowest fees in the province. Importantly, we continue to do this without operational government funding. Our residents receive excellent care, quality of life, while maintaining independence and staying in the community they love. And the Linden Lodge isn't just a residence, it's a hub of community life. We actively work to stay connected and give back. We partner with the local school, helping students build relationships with seniors. We host weekly Thursday coffee meetings, open to the entire communication, and it does attract a lot of farmers. We invite community members to participate in most of our activities and events, and we pack candy bags for the local church for Christmas and shoe boxes for Samaritan's Purse. We also work hard to sustain our building through a variety of funding ways. We have hold a very popular annual dessert evening fundraiser called the Harvest Gala. We have an electronics recycling program which collected almost 3 tons of electronics recycling last year. And we get generous donations from residents and their families, including estate gifts. All these efforts reflect both the commitment of our team and the incredible support of our community. One thing we are especially proud of is how carefully we manage our resources. The Lodge operates very lean compared to similar facilities, which allows us to keep our rates affordable. Every department works diligently to ensure funds are used responsibly. Today, I'm here specifically to talk about one of those needs. For several years, we've been dealing with an intermittent leak in the roof near the main entrance. Last year, our maintenance manager took the time to thoroughly investigate the issue. What he discovered was unexpected. When the roof was originally installed, the metal was attached directly to the rafters. There was no plywood sheathing or vapor barrier underneath. Over time, particularly in the valley area, this has loosened excuse me, and allowed water to penetrate. It's not a simple patch job, which we were hoping it would be. To properly fix the issue, we need to remove the metal roofing in that section, install proper plywood sheathing and a vapor barrier, and reinstall new metal roofing to seal the area correctly. We obtained quotes from several contractors, and the most cost-effective and highly qualified option is Woodpecker Construction, a reputable local contractor right from our village. The total project is manageable, but like many nonprofits, every dollar we spend has consequences elsewhere. We are respectively requesting a grant of $6,000 from Kneehill County to assist with this repair. While we could fund the project entirely ourselves, doing so would mean postponing other important improvements, including replacing worn dining room flooring and installing energy-efficient lighting, LED lighting in the basement, to name a couple. These aren't luxury projects. They're part of maintaining a safe, comfortable, and sustainable environment for our seniors. This request is about more than just fixing a roof. It's about preserving something that this community built from the ground up. It's about ensuring that the seniors in Linden and the surrounding area can continue to age in place stay connected to family and community, and lived with dignity and respect. And it's about supporting an organization that has, for over 30 years, operated responsibly, creatively, and independently to serve its residents. The Linden Lodge exists because people cared enough to build it, and it continues because people care enough to sustain it. We are deeply grateful for the funding we've received from the county in the past, and today we're asking again for your help. Your support of this $6,000 grant will help us address a necessary repair while continuing to provide affordable, high-quality living for our seniors. Thank you very much for your time and your consideration and for everything that you do for our community. I would love to answer any questions you might have.
Thank you for your presentation. I've got one question. Who else has been asked to donate to this project? Or who else has donated to this project?
We don't have any other donators to this project at this time. We actually had a number of projects that we were raising money for. So we did a big fundraising campaign last year. We needed to get a new generator, which was going to be a touch of about $100,000. So we actually raised that $100,000 last year through different methods. There was some estates, there was some large single donations from our residents. But unfortunately, because of that, we're sort of tapped out a little bit as far as that goes. So we were going to try and do this repair however we can from our existing funds. And this would just make it a lot easier because, yeah, money's tight, as it always is. So yeah, we haven't gone anywhere else for funds at this point.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Cunningham?
A few questions for me. So is there any ability to receive any funding through the provincial government for this project?
No, unfortunately, we have looked at, so because we are not managed by a housing management body, we are not able to get a lot of government funding. Currently, the government funding available out there in the budget that they've announced is for large-scale modernization programs. We would love to undertake something like that. Unfortunately, we do not have the funds currently to hire architects and designers to, engineers to get the initial project going. And you have to have all that stuff in place before you can even apply for this funding. We don't have it. We don't have the money to do it. So there are a couple of grants, there's CIP and there's another one. And unfortunately, because we are not considered a public facility, we are generally at the bottom of the totem pole for that. We have applied for those grants in the past and always got turned down. And when I investigated, it was because we weren't like a community center or something like that, because we're an accommodation facility.
So can you explain, or do you know why they don't deem you a public facility?
Because we're an accommodation facility, where people stay for night.
Okay.
So we're not a public use. I mean, we are, but they don't consider us a public use because it's not like a place where anybody can just come in and do their thing, right?
Yeah. So I know this is a hard question to answer, but any idea, like currently or maybe in the past, how many Kneehill County residents that did live in the Kneehill County
there?
before that would currently live there?
Oh, how many? I do not know how many in the past. I know we have a number, I would say there's probably 30% of our population currently. In the past, it's been more. I mean, it
would fluctuate for sure.
Yeah, it fluctuates
No,
so
that's
much.
helpful. Yeah.
So,
And-
but yeah.
And I know I do like to attend or go down to that little village every once in a while and perhaps visit with some people at the coffee shop you may know. But yeah, there's never anything but positive comments about your
thank you.
facility. So yeah, thank you.
Yeah, we try, and one of the things when I started there 5 years ago is to try and really engage with the community more so. Bring the community in. It's good for the residents. It's good for the community. And since Donnie Kimmel moved in, we have quite a load of farmers coming in for coffee on Thursdays. It gets loud.
Any other questions or concerns? Appreciate
All right.
appreciate your presentation, and thank you for coming in.
Thank you so much for listening to me. Appreciate it.
Yeah, yes, we can. Okay. Good morning. We're going to go to the Trochu District Development Society, their time slot, 9:30. We'll do introductions starting on my right.
Good morning, thanks for coming. Laura Michelle Cunningham, Division 5.
Lonnie McCook, Division 7.
Morning, Richard Hopkins, Division 6.
Yeah, good morning. Lowell Olson, Division 4.
Good morning, Darcy Penner, Division 2.
Good morning. Brian Bokens, member of the Trochu and District Hall Development Society. We solely own and operate the Trochu Community Center. I'm here today to request some funding. I have submitted a grant on behalf of our Hall Society. And if you have been to the Hall, I think you understand that we were in need of a new sound system. Just a little bit of a history on that. When the Hall first opened in 2001, there was not the budget for a sound system. So for the first couple of events that happened in the community center, I brought one of the systems that I had at the school, and we kind of used that until there was some soundproofing done, the big panels that are in the hall. It was quite echoey. And then at that point, they brought the old sound system over from the old community center. And I guess, you know, we just kind of got complacent and we left it that way. And so over the years, for functions that we've had where more is needed than just simply a public address, I've kind of become the community center's default sound technician. I've rented equipment, I've brought in gear for numerous events. And it's getting to the point now where the old system just didn't have any legs left. So a couple of things happened that got me thinking about how we can move forward with a better setup for the hall. And the first was I went to the Hannah Community Center for a wedding last summer. And I was really impressed with the quality of their sound system. They were kind of set up similar to us, where drama productions also happen, their community theater and their school productions happen there. So, you know, we've had a really good relationship with the school, many functions that have happened at the hall. And the other thing was the Historical Society was bringing in George Canyon and Aaron Perchette for a show. So when I started working with the museum board on that one, they asked me if I would take the lead on doing the technical setup for that show. And again, you know, I'm looking into renting more equipment. When I was talking to their road manager, he says, well, we can just plug into your existing system. All I need is a left and right channel input. And I went, wouldn't that be nice if that was the case? That we could have these type of shows coming through and not have to bring in extra gear. And why I didn't think of this years ago. You know, you just get used to what you've got and you make do with what you've got. And you piecemeal things together. And it's to the point now where it's time for something new. And I guess the third thing is I'm looking for an exit strategy, right? Some of these associations, the only way to get off the board is to expire yourself. So it's going to be really nice to train somebody to operate a system that's much more user-friendly and much more suited to our hall. So at that point, in October of last year, I got in touch with Parkland Audio. That's a company that I've used for years and do trust. And they came out and they looked not only at the community center, but at the arena, because I think the arena system could use an upgrade. So we kind of piggybacked, and I had him do two quotes, one for the community center, one for the arena. And I forwarded the arena quote on to the Trochu Town Council. And then with our quote, I had to pitch this to our board on the community center. And I was a little bit surprised. You know, I really have not gone shopping for audio equipment for a number of years. And the quote came in at $52,000. for a complete setup. They had done, all kinds of audio testing. He brought equipment in. And if anybody has been to our community center for the last two events, one was the dance troupe recital, and our most recent was GRAD. The new sound system is fantastic. It really does sound very, very good. And it is going to be very, very versatile moving forward. Our community center is used by a lot of organizations, not just Trochu, but also a lot of Kneehill County, a lot of businesses. We have the BASF big meeting with the farmers coming up. It's a versatile facility, and moving forward is going to be even more versatile. That's just kind of it in a nutshell. I don't know if anybody has any questions. I'd certainly be happy to answer them.
So Brian, your comment was it cost $52,000. It's in.
It's in.
Your sound system's in.
The sound system's in.
So the $52,000 came out of your pocket. You guys are just looking for dollars to, or was there other donators from municipalities and or town of Trochu, et cetera?
We have, okay, so we paid a 60% deposit to move forward on this, so we have paid $28,626. And so now, the remainder that we owe is $23,534. We have applied for the Community Facilities Enhancement Grant from the province, and we'll know more about that in the next couple months. The Elks have donated $5,000. I plan on doing some type of fundraising. The town has not submitted any money. There isn't really a grant process for the Trochu town that I'm aware of, that I couldn't find anything. Kneehill County, generous support in the past, and the Hull Board would like to thank you for that. In 2012, we received a county grant for new chairs at the Hall, and that was the last time I think that we've asked the county for any contributions. So with this project, in the works and mostly completed, any support that we can get from the county would sure be appreciated.
Any other questions? Councillor Cunningham.
So that's kind of the theme of what we're hearing today, whether it was Wimborne or having Linden come in and now yourself, Mr. Vokins. This is how we get things done in rural Alberta, is by volunteers. So, and like you said, I'm sorry to say, you're probably there for life. So nice try. But yeah, and I think, for myself, I've been at lots of things at the Trochu Hall, right? My daughter and son-in-law had their wedding activities there. And like you say, there's farmers markets, there's grads, there's, unfortunately memorial services, but it's such a great facility. I was at a memorial service, well, I was at two, unfortunately, in the last 6 months, and that came up, the sound system. And so, yeah, I could definitely see there's a need there. So, yeah, again, just thanks for everything you do. I know it's a lot of work, but it's a great facility. And like you say, it's used for people across the county. So.
Thank you.
Councillor Olson.
So you were saying this is the original system, other than, bits and pieces to maintain that over the years, is that correct?
The original system was replaced. It has been replaced.
Okay, so
And
it's been replaced once, so, okay.
No, that original system that came from the old community center into the new community center.
Oh, okay.
And it stayed. So it was, I have no idea how old
Okay.
it really was, but right, and
Okay, yeah, no, I wasn't.
I mean, it
no,
was
I
old
wasn't-
equiment, so it was good, but it has
Wow,
certainly
okay.
served its purpose and then some.
So lifespan of these then is quite long? if
Well,
it's-
it can be. My son is an audio engineer for Rogers Place up in Edmonton, and I asked him, because I had him go over the quote. I'm good at music, but I'm not a true technician. And he said lifespan of 10 years is what they budget for at Rogers Place. And I can't imagine, what I spent for the community center, times that by 50 for the Rogers. I mean, the budget for their sound system has got to be unreal, but that's the lifespan that they predict. I predict more, but things don't last like they used to, and they're only getting more expensive.
So one of the other questions, not one of the other questions, have you actually talked, or you're not gonna, you feel you're not gonna hear anything back from the town of Trochu, or you're not gonna get funding from the town of Trochu either?
I have not yet asked for funding from the town of Trochu. You're the first municipal government that I've approached.
Councillor Penner?
And if I understand correctly, you said that 60% of the project's paid for, you kind of have an outstanding, or you?
We do have an outstanding of $22,000.
22,000, right.
23,534.59, sorry. I think the reason for that, Councillor Penner, is I didn't want to wait till we had the money. I wanted to just plow forward on this and have it for moving forward as many events as possible. So I really kind of pushed my council to let's do this. Let's bite the bullet and stick our necks out and get it in place.
Councillor Hopkins?
Excuse me. Thank you for the presentation. And I would agree that a good sound system is necessary. I'm by no means any professional. I'm just like good sound, and as I get older, my hearing is getting weaker. As I should say, as I mature actively, my hearing is getting weaker, and there's no good time to put in a sound system, so you gotta do it when you need to do it. And what I'm also finding is the longer you wait, everything goes up in price. So there's no good time, and when you budget for something, you budget, and 10 months later, you gotta do some more fundraising. So good on you for going ahead with it, and
Thank you.
we'll, a little later in the meeting, talk about it some more and make a decision, so.
Perfect. I'm going
Thanks
to
for
go home and watch it on my computer.
Thanks for coming in.
Thanks.
Thank you.
No other concerns or questions? Thanks, Brian.
Thank you very much for your time.
Okay, we'll jump over to 4.2, gravel sales costs.
Good morning, council, again. So at the April 21st Committee of the Whole meeting, council requested administration to review the current gravel sale rates charged to ratepayers and bring back options for consideration. So Kneehill County currently sells gravel to ratepayers for $19 per ton. This rate was established, and to clarify on that, that would be the Gallagher gravel from 3 stockpile locations. The rate was established using the average cost between the 3 piles. So currently, we have this Gallagher gravel stockpiled in Three Hills, Trochu, and Hiller stockpile. In 2021, the county hosted gravel blitz days where we advertised and we're at each pit for a week at a time. We sold a total of 6,500 tons, just over that, sorry. In 2022, our Kneehill County did host these days again with only 440 tons being purchased. So due to the significant decrease of interest, administration didn't host the gravel blitz days again. However, the gravel still remained for sale, and once in a while, people did purchase it. So it was just on a case-by-case basis, and we would load it when we had loaders in the area and work that way. So administration reviewed the current costs associated with the gravel stockpiles. Currently, stockpile 31, so our Three Hills stockpile of the Gallagher gravel, is $19.41 per ton sitting there. with about just under 1,000 tons remaining. Pile 24 in Trochu, total cost of $22.89 per ton sitting there, with an approximate remaining tonnage of 9,300. Pile 14, which is our Hiller stockpile, our cost at that pile is $12.91 per ton, with just under 15,000 tons remaining. So with the average cost of that, those piles being $18.40 per ton, administration added estimated operator and administration time cost to facilitate the gravel sales, resulting in the current gravel sale rate of $19 per ton. In addition to these gravel sales, the county also utilizes this gravel for various needs, including infrastructure projects, road maintenance activities, and gravel placement on upgraded dirt roads throughout the county. So in 2025, the county utilized approximately 4,700 tons of this gravel from all three stockpiles. To this date, in 2026, we've used about 150 tons. The gravel is currently available at these three stockpiles. It's good for many applications, including approaches, driveways, farmyards, road projects. One of the main concerns with this product is it does have a higher clay base. It is a wet material is the main concern. It's hard to get out of trucks. Once you do get it dry, it is a good material as a sub-base material. It is closer to a designate 2 than a designate 4 for sure. So it remains solid once dried out and compacted until it's disturbed again, and then that's where those clay fines start working their way to the top. When we were looking at the cost of the gravel, we definitely worked in administration's time for processing payments and organizing the trip, making sure we had loaders out there, and that's where the $19 a ton came from. We did not do any hauling or anything like that for private ratepayers. It was the ratepayers had to show up with appropriate trucking. The first year we hosted it, we had some interesting vehicles show up to try to haul gravel, and then after that we made sure that it had to be a gravel truck or dump trailer of sort. So we got a couple options for council to consider. Council option number 1 could be maintain the current sale price of $19 per ton, reduce the sale price by 25% to $14.25 per ton, or reduce the sale price by 50% down to $9.50 per ton. So,
Councillor Olson.
Yeah, who made the rates different? Because it's all Gallagher gravel, is that correct, at the 3 different pits? So why were the rates so varied?
Through the chair. So we purchased the gravel for one price sitting in the pit, but then after that, all our hauling costs are associated to that stockpile. So every time we handle a material, that cost is increasing, right? So to haul it from Gallagher's pit to Hiller stockpile is obviously the shortest, cheapest haul, and then it just gets more expensive the farther you haul it.
So it's based on recovery then of cost recovery for each different location?
Correct. It would be the total cost for that gravel to get to that specific site.
Okay.
One of the problems I have, and I've had it for years, when this was purchased, it was non-spec gravel. It's very, very, you can say what you want about it. Yeah, all gravel's good when it's dry. I've seen that when it's wet. You can't put it on a road. I've seen it in the farmyards. It tracks into your house. It tracks on everything. It is crap. We, as a county, made a big mistake when that was purchased. That never should have been purchased. As far as I'm concerned, the sooner we get rid of that, the better off it is. And I think even cutting it in half to $9.50 isn't enough. Councillor Olson?
Obviously, it still has value for us if we use 4,700 tons last year. So we're not, I agree with Reeve McCook that we don't want this put on our maintained roads, but we are using it for dirt roads or build up of different kinds somewhere else. Is that correct?
Through the chair, that is correct. There's various things we've done with it. We've tried trial projects where we've mixed it in with better quality gravel, 1 bucket to 1 to 5 ratio virtually. It's worked out really good to add some material or get some extra material on the, to extend the life of our stockpiles. We've been able to do that and it's worked. We have used it to cover up some of those upgraded dirt trails. So not just any dirt trail, there are ones that have had money invested into them in the past that we've fixed up. Rock Hill's a road that usually gets it every couple of years. It just depends on where the roads are located and obviously where that stockpile is. We've used it to as a sub-base in the areas where it's not going to be disturbed once it's dried out and packed. So it's definitely once it's disturbed and it gets moisture, it does track and do all the fun things. But yeah, there definitely is costs associated with the material where it's sitting. So.
Yeah, there's definitely cost. There was ratepayer cost to purchase it to begin with. The ratepayers have already paid for this once. That's the problem. So, I mean, like I say, the sooner that we can get rid of this stuff, the better off I think we'll be. And I mean, it never should have been purchased in the first place, but I mean, we'll move on. Councillor Penner?
I agree with the Reeve that the ratepayers have paid for it once. If there's some value to this gravel, if it takes us a year or 2 years or 5 years to finish using it, we've paid for it. If there's some return on value to be gotten out of this at whatever rates it should be, I hesitate to just give the product away. I think we need to try and recover some value on this product for sure.
Councillor Hopkins?
I agree that there's got to be some sort of cost with this, and that's kind of where I was with the last motion, that there needs to be some recovery on our part for staff on site, loader on site, loading this for ratepayers. I just don't know what that price is. I'm trying to justify in my head what a number might be.
Councillor Olson?
Yeah, I obviously see that there's still some value because we're using the product. But I agree, you know, partly with the conversation here, and that we need to use this up. I don't think we need to have it at 3 different pits sitting, waiting for whatever. I think, you know, if we had 4 years or pick the largest, you know, stockpile and use that and clean the other sites up or whatever, and then just have the one location for, I don't know. But yeah, definitely still leave it available to the ratepayers, and I agree with Reeve McCook to drop the price for the ratepayers only.
Councillor Hopkins?
Just to get the ball rolling and discussion carry on a little bit, I move that council reduce the gravel sale price by 50% to $9.50 per ton for ratepayers and gravel purchases.
Any concerns or more questions on that? Councillor Cunningham?
Yeah, I think ratepayers, unfortunately, still talk about this gravel. You can go to the coffee shop and people still talk about the gravel. So, I mean, like we said, we can't change the past and we all need to move forward on it. But this might be a hard question to answer, Mr. Conklin, but like for the county's usage, like how, I know it would depend on each year, but like how many years of usage could you see yourself getting out of the gravel that's still remaining?
Through the chair, that'll be dependent. So obviously, with the rates, our Three Hill stockpile, one project pops up, that would be gone. It's got less than 1,000 tones there. Trochu, around that 10,000. It could be there till that stockpile is depleted. Could take us 5 years to go through it, could longer. That Hiller stockpile, that's where we gravel most of the dirt roads from. So it would likely go quicker, but that's gonna vary on the years and whether we're graveling those dirt roads that year. So I don't have a direct, it's gonna be X amount of years. Yeah, that's.
Councillor Olson?
Yeah, and we're letting the people that purchase this know that, you know, it does track and it does, yeah, because, you know, just so there isn't buyer's remorse, that they know what they're, I just want that each ratepayer to know specifically what they are actually getting, so they don't, you know, and now possibly giving a better price too.
Okay, we got a motion on the floor. Any more discussion? All in favor? Carried. Okay, road committee update. Are you on this one, Mike? Okay. Before I say anything, yeah.
That's good.
Okay.
Thank you, Council. The road committee completed their first road tour on April 27th. They reviewed various infrastructure concerns throughout Kneehill County. At that time, the committee reviewed a total of 23 sites. These concerns included road conditions, brushing, drainage, signage, intersection safety, future gravel considerations, infrastructure maintenance requirements, and current and future capital plans. Several recommendations were identified during the tour for Council's consideration. The requests including requests for administration to prepare letters to Alberta Transportation in regarding to transportation safety concerns. Additionally, recommendations from the committee included future brushing projects, bridge replacement considerations, and review potential paving areas. Future project recommendations identified during the road committee tour will be coming back a part of the 2027 budget planning for potential capital or operational projects for consideration, or for council's consideration. So there was two recommendations from the road committee for council to direct administration to prepare letters to send to Alberta Transportation. One regarding turning lanes on Highway 21 at Township Road 342. And the other recommendation would be to prepare a letter for Alberta Transportation to install a larger stop sign at Range Road 251 and Highway 587.
Okay, one of the deals with the road committee that we're working our way through here is that these are recommendations to council. They're not motions. So we have to get this information back to council as quick as we can. The first road committee, we'll just let this one go. It's a learning process. For an example, the last road committee, the last council meeting, we discussed with council and had a motion to prepare a letter for transportation for that intersection at the elevator. I didn't see the motion in here that the road committee recommended that it be paved also from 1.5 miles down to the Highway 21. Did you see that, Mike?
I think I lost that email somewhere along the way.
Okay.
That's
Now-
good.
Now the other concern is that if there was funding, that should be in there, right? If there was funding on that road for paving, like any other elevator here. The other thing too, we have to be, when we go on these road committees, is if we discuss as a road committee and make a recommendation, we have to make sure that we get that to you and or Teresa, who is ever coming with us, and it's wrote down, and it's followed up on. For an example, we discussed that road, I call it the Harold King Hill. We discussed what we could be doing there. I'm not sure any action's been taken place yet, and that to me is just maintenance. So we have to be able to follow up on that because we're gonna be getting calls, right? And I'm pretty sure that a couple of councillors have already got a call on it, or 3 of us. So, yeah. But I mean, that's us as a road committee. We'll have to tighten it up and get it going, but that's how it should work. So as far as I'm concerned, what we're here today is for to look for a motion to present, or to write a letter to the Alberta Transportation, right? Yep.
Through the chair, I can So for that one example, the graders are on their beats, and that one was deemed of general maintenance. So when the grader was in the area and the gravel crew was in the area is when that gravel would be applied to that exact location, right? We are currently graveling down in Division 1 when our committee did the road tour, so, but yeah, the general maintenance things are getting checked off as we're in the area, so.
Okay. Councillor Olson?
Yeah, and we can maybe help as road committee to, you know, at the end of the day, make sure that we have the list and what we want presented, so you have a clearer idea and not so much involuntary information along the way.
So does everyone understand what we're asking for on Highway 21 and the elevator road at Drains Connect? Okay. Everybody understands why what we're doing on 570, or pardon me, the 587 road at Hopkins's corner there with the stop signs? They're too small. And that's actually a transportation road. It's not the Kneehill County road.
So those would all be requests we make of the transportation department, because that's not our road.
Correct. Yeah. But it affects both sides of us, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, and there should also have been on there, also to look into, if I remember right, to look into grants available for paving, like resource road grants and or et cetera for that, paving that elevator road.
Through the chair, we could definitely add that recommended motion in. That was going to come back as part of the budgetary process there, if we could find any grants and bring the potential costs of that, and any recommended grants, if we could find any, so.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Hopkins?
I'm just wondering with our letters, if we can also request a site visit from the transportation minister
That'd be nice.
to come out and have a look at that intersection and maybe a few others that I know the town of Trochu has some concerns with their lanes as well, so maybe we can do a multi-jurisdictional visit and hopefully get some success.
Other concerns or questions? Councillor Olson?
Yeah, there's others that are now can be added to that too, if we can make a decent list for, if he's willing to come.
Everybody okay with that? Councillor Cunningham?
Yeah, I just want to say I was excited to kind of hear the feedback from this road committee, and I think it's just looks like it's a really nice collaboration between administration and council, and an opportunity for the committee to share. Like I know I sent some of my top 5 concerns are the ones I hear from, so yeah, I think this is great. So, with that, I'll make the motion that council direct administration to prepare a letter for council to send to Alberta Transportation requesting the review and consideration of additional turning lanes along Highway 21 at the intersections of Township Road 342.
You want to do 2 of them? Can we do it all in one, or do you want to do 2?
I would recommend doing separate motions.
All right. Any discussion or concerns on this motion? All in favor? Carried. Sure, Councillor Cunningham.
Okay, I will move that council direct administration to prepare a letter for council to send to Alberta Transportation requesting the installation of a larger stop sign at the intersection of Range Road 251 and Highway 587.
Questions or concerns? All in favor? Carried.
Go ahead.
Councillor Olson?
I make the motion that council direct administration to request a site visit from the Alberta Transportation to view some of the councillors' concerns.
Any more questions or concerns on it? Oh,
Did you want more on that, Carolyn? No?
That is up to council. Did you want me to put in the last two motions, the site visit for the Range Road 25-1?
yeah, please. I think
Yeah.
that's what we got. Yeah, we'd like to question the minister.
I will reread that then.
Okay, yep.
Do you want me to reread that?
Sure, I just put in the last sentence and possibly other highway concerns from the town of Trochu.
Thank
As
you.
what Deputy Reeve Hoppins suggested. Do you like that wording?
Yeah, I don't mind that, because then we can add to it. Okay, I will reread my motion as it is definitely clearer. So I make the motion that council direct administration to request a site visit from Alberta Transportation to view the following: turning lanes along Highway 21 at the intersection of Township Road 342, stop signs installed at Range Road 251 and Highway 587, and possibly other highway concerns from the town of Trochu.
Questions, sorry, go ahead.
Should I add maybe such as turning lanes into the town of Trochu instead?
Sure.
Okay.
Everyone okay with that wording? We don't have to read it again?
Nope.
Okay.
We're good.
Okay, everybody's okay with that? All right. We have a motion. Any concerns, questions? All in favor? Carried. Okay,
Thank
Mike.
you. Bye.
All right, let's get on to 5.
4.4.
4.4.
You railway costs.
4.4, all right.
Mike still might have to come up.
I don't think so. 4.4, okay, I brought this forward, railroad crossing stop signs. I'm looking for information on that, as in the aspect of why, or if these, who put those stop signs up on the railroad crossing posts? Why they were put up? Do you know that, Mike? Okay. You might as well come up and tell me.
Thank you. So through the chair, I believe the question was stop signs at railway crossings and why they're being installed and who's installing them. So to answer that, CN does site inspections of all the crossings. It is CN's right of way. I believe it is 15 meters on each side of the railway crossings. So with those site visits, they look at visibility, sight lines, traffic, all that, and virtually they send recommendations to their local CN guys to be putting up stop signs. So they work in coordination with us to put stop signs up, let us know where they're going up. Most of it's due to sight lines on private property that they suggest to us to go deal with. Unfortunately, most landowners it's not our right of way to be dealing in. CN won't deal with the private landowners, so their easiest thing to do is throw up a stop sign for their train crossings and then they move on, so.
That being said, why are we enforcing with our county mounties and giving out tickets to ratepayers when not stopping on a third-party crossing? Why are we enforcing those rules?
Through the chair, I don't have an answer to that. I would have to get some context from our enforcement area there and get back to the council on that.
Yeah, because what I see is, I just see a money grab here, and I mean, why, they're putting the stop signs up. It's their right of way. They're not paying us to maintain, or to monitor, or to police that. They have their own police. Why are we giving out tickets to our ratepayers by our county mounties? That's the questions.
Well, through the chair, obviously there has possibly been an incident that I'm not aware of, so we'll have to talk to the enforcement there and get some answers to that. But virtually, unless the stop signs have been signed off with the CAO, then they're not enforceable. So.
Yep, no, I'll wait for information to get back. Thank you. Yeah. Councillor Cunningham.
So I would make a motion that administration bring back further information on railway, how would you want that worded?
Railroad stop signs, railroad crossing stop signs.
And maybe like we need some information from our emergency management team.
I want to know why we're enforcing that.
Okay.
Yeah. Is that worded enough or good enough? Any questions or concerns on this? Councillor Penner?
I guess the only comment that I would make, and with no knowledge particularly about the issue, but if the railway has the ability to post stop signs, I would assume that our local police enforcement, as part of their job, is required to administer traffic violations at any spot where there are stop signs.
I guess where the discretion I have though is what I'm looking at is this is third-party land. This isn't our land. This is privately owned land. That's the clarity that we need. That's the clarity we're looking for. Okay, everybody is okay with that? Any more questions or concerns on that motion? All in favor? Carried. Opposed? All right, let's go to 5.1, planning.
Good morning. All right, so today I'm bringing to the first reading and to set a public hearing for Jesse and Ashley Ryder, Timothy and Elizabeth Miller, and Isaac Ham have recently purchased the country residential property north of the town of Three Hills and would like to redesignate the 20-plus acres from the portion of the Northwest 6, 32, 23 west of the 4th that is currently country residential back to the agricultural district. The subject land is located along Range Road 240, which is a hard surface. This parcel was redesignated to the country residential district in January of 1998, which was Bylaw 1385. The developer of the time intended to create multiple lots and sell them. The current landowners have no intention of doing this. The purpose of the agricultural district is to preserve better agricultural land and provide areas for the accommodation and continuation of a wide range of agricultural and compatible uses. The applicants want to keep livestock, but the country residential district does not allow it. The applicants want to graze a few chickens, sheep, and cows. Notices are required under Section 606 of the Municipal Government Act. This must be done by an advertised method in accordance with Kneehill County's Advertising Bylaw 1772, which notes the Three Hills Capital and the Kneehill County website as our official means of notification. As part of our process, we continue to mail notifications to adjacent landowners and referral agencies within 1 mile of the site who could be considered potentially affected parties. The internal Kneehill County departments are also included in this referral. A person who claims to be deemed affected must be allowed to be heard by council. First reading is the mechanism for moving an application into this process. An additional motion is required to set the date for the public hearing. All information and questions regarding the application are to be brought forward at the public hearing so it may be heard by everyone. The public hearing process is legislated. As per the MGA, council must hear any person or group claiming to be affected by the proposed bylaw. Any landowner feels they will be impacted by the proposal either positively or negatively will have an opportunity to attend and speak to the matter directly at the public hearing. Affected parties can also submit their concerns in writing. These comments will be included in the public hearing package for council's consideration. Participating in the public hearing is a legislated method for landowners to provide comments to council for consideration. Once a public hearing is closed, no additional information should be submitted or considered in the decision-making process. The agricultural district has been included as an attachment to show the uses that can be introduced on the lands if this is redesignated to ag. That is it.
Questions? Is the whole place out there country residential?
There are a few that are country residential still, but then there's the direct control across the road, and there are still some ag in the area. During the public hearing, there will be a map that shows you that.
Okay. Councillor Olson?
There was a previous residence on this parcel,
Yes,
and it's still existing, is that correct?
correct, yep.
No other questions, concerns? Councillor Penner?
With that, then I would move that sorry, let me read that again. I would move that council move first reading of proposed bylaw 1935 for the purpose of amending land use bylaw 1808 by redesignating a portion of the northwest of 63223 west of the 4th from county residential district to agricultural district. And at that point, would I group the second part of that motion with that as well, or do you need two separate motions?
I would recommend two separate motions.
Okay.
Thank you, Councillor Penner.
Any questions or concerns on the motion? All in favor? Carried.
Second motion.
We got a second motion. Did you want to, sorry. Councillor Hoppins?
I make a motion that council move to schedule public hearing as per section 216.4 and 606 of the Municipal Government Act to be held on June 23rd, 2026 at 10 a.m.
Any concerns, questions? All in favor? Carried. Good to go. I'm still here. You're still here.
We know.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Pretty soon there'll be more desks in here. All right. 5.12 subdivision extension request.
Hello again. I bring to you a subdivision extension request for KNE 250108 relating to the Northeast 153424. The landowner and agent have been approved to subdivide the existing home and buildings. Landowners are given a year from the date of subdivision approval to meet the conditions of the approval. If the conditions are met, the subdivision approving authority is required to endorse the subdivision to allow registration at land titles. KNE 250108 was approved on April 24th, 2025. There are two conditions left with the specific subdivision prior to endorsement. The reason for the extension is to finalize the survey and the private sewage inspection. Therefore, an extension for the subdivision is required for the applicant to finalize the remaining conditions. This is the first extension request for KNE 250108. We are requesting an extension deadline to fall on April 23rd, 2027, as April 24th is a Saturday. And that is it, unless you have any questions.
Is it just that these extensions are coming about because everybody's so slow on these inspections?
No, we went for like 5 years without having any extensions. It kind of just depends on the people. And they're what they need to do. It isn't to do with the inspections.
Councillor Cunningham?
And I do see there is a fee to the extension request as well, right? Yeah, okay, thanks. So I'll make the motion that council move to grant a 1-year extension to KNE 250108 until April 23rd, 2027.
Questions or concerns? All in favor? Carried.
Thank you.
Thanks. Okay, 5.2, Agriculture Service Board, Strychnine Program, 206.
Good morning, Council. So this morning I bring before you the program proposal for the strychnine vendor distribution through Kneehill County. As we had provided the update there is a new federal program that we are expected to participate in. At this point in the program plan, the distribution is, we're expecting to receive product mid-June. At that point, it will be past the first application period of March 1st to June 15th, as legislated on the label. So then we will be looking for application July 15th to September 1st, after the vegetation has died down. The user restrictions involved in this program, the purchase and application must be done by a commercial agriculturalist, so those who qualify for a farm fuel number and who utilize agriculture as their main source of income. They must also be listed as the titled landowner or leaseholder or renter on the land where the infestation occurs. This also is very specific in the fact that anybody who picks up the product, handles the product, they have to be one of these landowners. If you do have a corporation, you just have to be listed on the board of directors for that. So we will need to collect proof of that when we are validating the users. Applicators must also complete mandatory training and provide a copy of their certificate at the time of purchase. That training is available through the Saskatchewan Association of Rural Municipalities. It is only valid until the fall. The reasoning that has been provided for that is that once this first round of the program has gone through, they may change some of the aspects of the training. So they want to make sure that should there be additional training for next season, because this is going to be valid until November of 2027, that then they can make those adjustments for the application for next season. Prior to the purchase, the applicators will be required to submit a declaration form, which I have in here. It's currently being developed. I did receive that yesterday, and so I now finally have that form to review. So we will need a copy of that, which confirms a significant gopher infestation and provides an agreement to follow the label and any of the emergency use rules. It also will include the basic treatment plan for where they intend to apply the product, including the site location, land use, and any previously attempted alternative control measures. So any poisoning, any raptor encouragement, any cultural type of applications, any mechanical shooting mechanisms on site. Applicators will also be required to post signage at the entrances to the site, as well as mark anywhere that they have applied the product. So staking, flagging, so that when the monitoring takes place, that they're able to return to those sites and confirm that that product hasn't been dug up and put back above the ground, that there's no carcasses above ground, and that there's been no non-target poisoning. As I mentioned, yeah, so the monitoring there, applicators must monitor the treated areas, so daily to twice daily, depending on the level of infestation for the first week, and then weekly for the next 3 weeks. They are required to collect and properly dispose of any of the carcasses, any strychnine they find above ground, and complete the associated monitoring forms, which, as I mentioned, in here it says currently being developed. I did receive those as well yesterday. So, following the application periods, the applicators must submit that product evaluation form and their monitoring tracking to the municipality, who then we must submit it to the province. So those forms, that will be another step of administration for us to be following up with those producers, ensuring that we're getting those records. They do have a date of, I believe it's September 27th, that we need to have any of the records for this year submitted by. So. The Government of Alberta has said that they will be conducting audits of both the vendors, so the municipalities, and the applicators to ensure proper record keeping, storage, application, and monitoring. Failure to adhere to any of the program requirements may result in permanent removal from the program and fines of up to $100,000 per individual and $500,000 per corporation. As I'd mentioned, the municipal delivery, we are the only vendors for this product. The requirements for the distribution include us holding a pesticide vendor registration and having staff that are certified pesticide applicators and that have completed the administrator training. For our facilities, we need to have a locked storage space with ventilation and secondary containment for the product, which we do have. And then for administering the product and sign distribution, they've now provided us with a long checklist of all the things that we need to print off and provide to the producers when they pick up their product. And then we have to submit their initial forms as well as their monitoring forms into the province. Currently, so when I had submitted this, it was 155. We're now at least 10 more, so we're up to 165 individuals that have reached out with interest to the product. We have updated our vendor registration as required to be able to distribute that product. And I have 4 staff that have taken the required administrating training and have their pesticide applicators licenses. Depending on the amount of product and the extent of the administration requirements, we will need to take significant time to deliver this program away from other ag services. We're currently developing what that looks like for all of the tracking, all of the steps in the processing, the administration of it. We're trying to get through the background side of it and what that looks like. So we will be very closely monitoring our time involved in this so that we're able to reflect that back to both council and the province when looking at evaluating this program. We are not receiving any additional funds to deliver this program. This is an expectation that the province has. It is something that the municipalities delivered in the past under our Ag Service Board agreements, and something that the Agricultural Service Boards have lobbied for to have this product brought back for distribution. So it's typically, as I'd said, it's outside of our typical operations. So we're going to bring it forward as a project for council's consideration. Under this approach, council would approve the project budget and allocate our staff as resources to the program delivery, including the purchases, sales, and the required reporting. The first shipment of strychnine is very limited. It's expected to be around 800 cases for the entire province. We are expected to receive approximately 18 in the initial shipment, although the email I received at the beginning of this week says maybe less, like 5 or 6. So I'm really, not quite sure what we will be expecting. But based on what they had initially said with that 18 to 20 cases, and the anticipating that subsequent shipments would be about the same size, we have set that the expected, and I do have an update to this, the price per case is now confirmed to be $4.40 per case plus shipping. And as per the provincial restrictions, it is limited to 2 cases per individual. Because of the current inquiries, we're looking at probably 400 cases plus if everybody was to take 2 cases each. But because of those supply constraints, we're actually probably going to get fewer than 100. I'm thinking maybe 70, 75-ish. So given the anticipated volume we're actually expecting to get, the associated administrative requirements, we're requesting council approve a project budget of $30,150 for the purchase and resale of strychnine in 2026. We would further recommend that the resale price be set at the cost of the product plus 15% administration fee to help offset the administrative costs that are going to have to go into this program. And administration also recommends that product allocation be administered by a lottery. Given the level of interest expressed prior to the establishment of the former program, a lottery process would provide the most equitable method of distribution. Under this approach, qualified purchasers who have completed the required training and submitted their applications by a specific deadline would be entered into the draw. Administration further recommends limiting entries to 1 farm unit per land location to support equitable access. Therefore, basically you couldn't have 5 applicators applying under 1 quarter section. In addition, the Agricultural Service Board, when it met on May 13th and had this discussion, recommended that because of the limited supply, that we limit to 6 bottles each in order to maximize distribution among producers so that then as many producers as possible can treat their most severe infestations. Within the policy outlined here, if we want to go down to that. So yes, we've outlined the specifics, that it's for we recognize the impact of the Richardson's ground squirrels, that the limited time frame of this program, and that this policy would be in effect only for that limited time frame. It establishes the clear guidelines for administration on Kneehill County's strychnine distribution program. Going into the specifics of the program, that the Agriculture Services Department would establish and administer the program and the budget to the qualified agricultural producers for the control of Richardson ground squirrels. It would operate in accordance with all applicable federal and provincial legislation, product label requirements, and program guidelines. We would maintain our valid pesticide vendor registration under the Alberta Environment Protection and Enhancement Act and ensure that all staff involved in the program hold current appropriate training and certification required to distribute this product. The purchasing eligibility, qualified purchasers would need to meet the commercial agriculturalist status, provide valid proof of completion of their mandatory training, So that strychnine training through the Saskatchewan Association of Rural Municipalities, be a landowner or renter within Kneehill County, and be requesting product solely for use on lands located within Kneehill County. Submit all required documentation, declarations, and application materials in full and by any deadlines established by the county, the Government of Alberta, or the Government of Canada, sorry. Agree to submit all required monitoring, usage, and reporting documentation within the timelines established by the Government of Alberta and the Government of Canada. Acknowledge and comply with all federal and provincial requirements related to species at risk, including any mitigation measures outlined in the training or on the product label. And remain in good standing with Kneehill County and not be subject to any outstanding compliance issues related to pesticide use or previous program participation. That the product pricing, Kneehill County would sell the 2% liquid strychnine at a rate equal to the county's product acquisition cost plus an administrative fee and applicable taxes. Rates will be established through the county's master rates bylaw or by council resolution where authorized. Pricing may be adjusted if supplier costs or regulatory requirements change. When it comes to the product lottery, we had this set as a separate thing. So if the demand exceeds the available supply, Kneehill County will conduct a lottery among all qualified purchasers. The lottery draw date will be set in advance based on expected product delivery timelines and will be publicly advertised. If supply is limited and a lottery is required, each successful purchaser will be limited to a maximum of 6 bottles. So that's where that input from the ASB came in. The lottery entrants must be qualified purchasers who meet all the federal and provincial program requirements, hold their valid training certificate, have eligible land in Kneehill County, provide acceptable evidence of severe infestation locations, so that declaration form, and have confirmed their eligibility with the Agriculture Services staff prior to the lottery deadline. Multiple individuals may not enter the lottery using the same land location. Joint landowners will be considered a single entry. Unsuccessful applicants may be placed on a wait list should additional product become available. And the lottery will be conducted using a transparent random selection method, and all entrants will be notified of the results. And then we just have a liability statement there at the end, just saying that we're not responsible for what the producers do after they take the product. And I have included there the references to the strychnine product label, the Government of Alberta's Richardson Ground Squirrel Control website, the Saskatchewan Association of Rural Municipalities Strychnine Stewardship Training website, and the Government of Alberta Pesticide Management website. So, in conclusion, we would be looking at the financial implications of a project budget of $30,150 for the product purchase, with the cost to be recovered through the fees. The product price would be set at the purchase cost plus 15% administrative fee and applicable taxes. At the conclusion of the program, any revenues in excess of the product expenditure would be reported to council with a recommendation to transfer to reserves. The staffing implications would include increased administrative time for program delivery, depending on reporting requirements and product availability. Current Ag Services staff with support from the seasonal staff will be required to redirect resources from other Ag Services programs, including event and communication resource development, policy review, weed inspections, or spot spraying. Going into the council options here, the options that we have provided is that council approve the establishment of a strychnine distribution program through policy 1-29-4, agricultural pest strychnine distribution, that a project budget be set at $30,150 for product procurement, and that the sale of the product at the purchase cost plus 15% administrative fee and applicable taxes as set out in the master rates bylaw amendment that will be coming forward later. So, are there any questions or on the program?
Yeah, one of the things that I see here is we used to do this all the time. We used to pass out strychnine all the time, never skip a beat. We had one Ag Service guy. Here, it seems like there's just so much red tape maybe, more red tape than normal. it'd be a good time to maybe talk to your new agriculture minister on something like this. I'm not in favor of missing a beat on weed inspection and/or spot spraying. We can take the rest of it. I mean, your event, communication resources, policy review, that's fine. But I don't think we need to miss weed inspections and spot spraying to provide this service, and I don't think we have to anyway. It just seems an awful lot of red tape for something that used to be so simple. And that being said, I think we should address this with the ag minister on that. That's just a concern, and I mean, like, I think I'd be better off spending $55,000 on bullets. Because I'm not gonna get it's a draw, right? It's a lottery. Councillor Olson.
Yeah, we did talk about this at Agricultural Services Board, but it goes through till November of 2027. So if we actually do get the product, it would almost be better to hang on to what you have to apply in the spring where you're gonna get the most benefit. So, I mean, there is some benefit if we actually get the product. There is a lot of red tape, and I think the government is doing it on purpose to, you know, give us a token, not so much maybe the provincial, but the federal, for sure. They're making it very onerous, but they still want to look like they're doing something. That's what I see here.
Yeah, go ahead.
Just to provide some context to council, the emergency use registration was an application through, jointly through the province of Alberta and the province of Saskatchewan. They did initially, so they applied to that to the federal pesticide management regulatory agency. The initial application was denied, and so that we had heard about at the ASB conference, and had not anticipated that this would be coming back. When they denied that application, they said we need additional parameters. So the parameters that are being put into place, the additional paperwork, the things here, are what has been set out by the Federal Pesticide Management Regulatory Agency in order for them to agree to provide with this emergency use. And unfortunately, should this product be desired and be wanted for use, this is the requirements that they have set for its use.
I don't think there's a problem with, I shouldn't say I don't think there's a problem with this, but there is a problem with the red tape. It's not that we don't want this. We used to have this all the time. It wasn't this hard.
Yeah.
And I mean, our Alberta government isn't standing up and fighting for us either. That's the problem. Councillor Penner?
I guess with that, I would move that council approve the establishment of a strychnine distribution program through policy 1-29-4, agricultural pests, strychnine distribution. Authorize a project budget of $30,150 for product procurement, and approve the sale of the product at purchase cost plus a 15% administration fee and applicable taxes as set out in the master rates bylaw amendment.
Questions? Councillor Cunningham?
Well, I just wanted to follow up on what the Reeve said, and I understand this was kind of driven by municipalities, but when I listen to this, all I hear is it's a lot of extra work and cost for Kneehill County staff and administration. So frustrating. I think there is a minister of red tape reduction with the Alberta government, and I would like to know more about that position. I know I listened to a lot of the hearing with the Lone Butte Solar, and gopher infestation was a hot topic in that hearing, and I think we're going to hear more about that going forward. And yeah, just in addition, I would really encourage people, like Reeve said, MLA Tara Sawyer is now the Minister of Agriculture and Irrigation, so any members of the public that are concerned about this, I would encourage them to contact her ministry.
Councillor Hoppins?
I have one question in regards to the financial amount. you mentioned that each case was gonna cost $440. So with that 30,150, that only gives us 68 cases. Should more cases become available, and it's on a short time frame, would you have to come back to council for more money? And would there be time to do that? Is this amount considered?
Potentially, we could seek CAO special approval for
Okay.
that.
I
If
just don't
there's,
wanna lock
if
at
there's
the end.
time, we could come back to council. Unfortunately, with the limited supply that they have, this is about as much as I expect that we'll be able to get our hands on.
Thank you.
Any other questions or concerns? Okay, there's a motion on the floor. I'm in favor of the motion, other than I don't want this to affect weed inspection and/or spot spraying. That's my concern. Go ahead.
And of course, with all of our core programming, we will do our best to prioritize things and make sure that we can meet the metrics that we set out prior to this program coming into force. I just want to make sure that council is aware that this does take a lot of administrative burden onto us, and so that is, we will still be making every attempt to meet all of our formally set goals.
Okay. Any other questions, concerns? All in favor? Carried.
Thank you.
Let's take a 10-minute break. All right, we're back from recess. Let's get on to 7.1 bylaw 1936, master rates bylaw.
Thank you, Reeve. I bring forward the master rates bylaw for your approval today. These amendments reflect the recent Agricultural Service Board policy update regarding strychnine. One change I made within the bylaw, since we had it open, is section 3, right here in red, where a fee or charge is not established within the bylaw, or where special circumstances apply, council may by resolution establish or vary those fees, rates, or charges. So instead of bringing back the master rates every time there's a little change, you guys can just make a motion, and then next time we make a change to the master rates, we'll bring those changes and put them in the master rates bylaw. Yeah, by adding this clause, it will provide council with flexibility within the bylaw framework, allowing you to address items without needing to amend the bylaw each time. This will be particularly useful for situations like the strychnine charge we just had, as well as items such as dust control rates, which fluctuate year to year based on pricing. While the bylaw was open, I also reached out to other departments to confirm if any additional updates were required, since it was the last brought back in March. Parks has requested the removal of the firewood rate and an increase to the commemorative bench fee from $2,000 to $4,000. In addition, with the recent repeal of policy 14-11, the future connections policy, we can remove the reference to future connections from the flat maintenance rate under water charges. A breakdown of all changes can be found on page 78 of your package, and amendments are shown in red within the bylaw. As this is a bylaw, it requires 3 readings. Council has the option to proceed with all 3 readings today with unanimous consent, or to pause after first or second reading if additional time or information is required. That's the end of my report. I'm happy to answer any questions you might have.
Any questions? Concerns, Councillor Cunningham?
So just out of curiosity, for commemorative benches, like what locations in Kneehill County do we have them? Because like I know, for example, in the town of Three Hills, they have them like at Anderson Park, so I was just curious for us where we have them.
I knew you were going to ask that question, so I was prepared. So the program started back in 2016, and we've completed 8 commemorative benches. We have 1 at the administration building here, 2 at Orkney Point, 1 at Mount Davis Cemetery, 1 at Torrington East Cemetery, 1 at Torrington West Cemetery, and 2 at the Wimborne Cemetery.
So is there, if someone wanted to do this for like a loved one, is there like a criteria where they go, or how does that work? Like they choose where it goes, or?
I will bring up Fallon, who knows more about that
Yeah, I
policy
was
than I
just
do.
curious, yeah, and I mean, I think I'm understanding, unfortunately, we're living in a world where everything's costing more, so I just noticed the price doubled, but I'm sure that the cost has literally probably doubled.
Absolutely. Thank you for the question, Councillor Cunningham. Yes, through the policy for the commemorative benches, it states that we would select a few locations on the requested site that would be appropriate, and then the family would have the option to pick out of those locations for that bench. And yes, as you mentioned, the cost has gone up quite a bit. Previously, we had a stock supply of benches that we were able to use. We are now out of those, going to look at purchasing new. Since that time, prices doubled.
Councillor Olson?
Sorry, while you're still there, what's the ongoing maintenance of a bench? Do we know that?
The ongoing maintenance at this point, very low. Other than, I know we had one that had experienced some vandalism. And so when that kind of thing happens, then we will take that on. I think at that time we actually had to do a full bench replacement, but we didn't have to re-pour the pad. But other than that, they're very low maintenance. And we've set the lifespan at them at about 15 years.
Any other questions, concerns? Councillor Cunningham?
I will move that council give first reading to bylaw 1936, that being a bylaw to establish rates, fees, and charges for various operations, products, permits, and services.
Questions, concerns, comments? All in favor? Carried. Councillor Hopkins.
I move that council provide second reading to bylaw 1936.
Questions? Any concerns? All in favor? Carried. Councillor Olson.
Yeah, I would give, council gives ununanimous consent for third and final reading of bylaw 1336. Sorry, I read that wrong. 1936, thank you.
Any questions? All in favor? Carried. Councillor Hopkins.
I move that council approve third reading be given to bylaw 1936.
Any other questions or discussion on this? All in favor? Carried. Okay, policy or 7.2, policy 11, ASB structure and remuneration.
All right, so the next three agenda items all share the same preamble, so I'll go through it once rather than repeating it for each policy. These policies were brought forward to the Committee of the Whole in April, following a recommendation from the Agricultural Service Board. The board requested that all provisions allowing the county to cover a spouse's registration costs for attendance at the annual Summer Ag Service Board tour be removed. Council reviewed these provisions at that meeting and provided direction on amendments. Those changes have now been incorporated into the policies before you today. For ease of review, all changes are shown in red and any removed content is struck through. Council has 4 options today: approve the policies as presented, 2, make any further amendments, 3, direct administration to bring back additional information, or 4, leave the policies unchanged. That ends my report. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any questions? Are we voting on each individual one, or are we?
We have to, yeah.
Okay. Councillor Cunningham.
Just because I haven't been on ASB before, so if I'm understanding this correctly, so in the past, Kneehill County provided the cost for a spouse to go to the ASB convention and the summer tour, is that correct? Yeah, okay.
Motion coming forth, or any questions? Councillor Penner?
I would move that council approve policy 1-1 ASB structure and remuneration as presented.
Any questions or concerns on that one? All in favor? Carried. Councillor Olson.
Yeah, then I would move on with, to make a motion that policy 3-1, councillor compensation and expense reimbursement be acknowledged as presented. Or is that one amended? That one?
You can say as presented.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
thank you, yeah.
Is everybody okay with that? Councillor Cunningham.
Sorry, can we just highlight the changes of that, please?
Through the chair, we changed, as per the recommendation from the Committee of the Whole, we added Community Futures Wild Rose to the Economic Development Association Conference. And I actually struck out the Cape because we're no longer belong to that. And we struck out the whole Councillor Partner Program and Allowance as per council recommendation from the Committee of the Whole.
Councillor Olson.
So we left in for the Economic Development Conference, is that correct? That's not taken out, it's just for the Cape, is that correct?
Oh, yeah, we kept the Economic Development Conference in,
Okay.
but we struck out Cape and inserted Community Futures Wild Rose.
Excellent, because I like the one and I don't like the other, so thank you.
Glad I could help.
Councillor Cunningham.
Can you just move down again back to that? Yeah, so I don't have a problem really with any of this, and not a hill I'm gonna die on. The only thing I kind of wonder about sometimes is if we take everything away from the partner piece, I don't think anybody's sitting here, I mean, for me personally, I think we're very more than adequately compensated. In 5 years that I've been on council, the man that I live with, you won't see a lot, but I think he's attended 2 Christmas parties. So what I see is I've never really seen a misuse of any of this. And again, for me personally, I don't charge mileage just because of my proximity of where I live. So I guess I'm a little hesitant. I think, I know like Councillor Anderson said that his wife likes to attend because you've spent so many years apart for so many years working or whatever. So I just want to say that I don't think I've ever seen a misuse of any of this by any council members in my 5 years, but again, I'm fine with it. I don't honestly know what my husband would do with the $30 a day, but yeah, just wanted to throw that out there.
Well, I think the discussion was at the Committee of the Whole is that the ratepayers shouldn't be paying for the spouses. And that part there, I'm in favor of. The other thing too is half of these conventions that we go to, they don't provide anything for the spouses like they used to anyway. Like the conventions used to have something for the spouses. They don't have anything like that now. So basically your spouse sitting in a hotel room, right? So. Councillor Cunningham?
Yeah, for sure. And like I said, I don't have a problem with this at all. If my husband decides he wants to come to FCM, we're happy to pay for his airfare from wherever, not to Edmonton, but yeah, I don't have a problem with that at all. I know with FCM convention, there is a partner program for that. So that is one where there's actually sometimes I think their content is more interesting than sometimes the council part, but again, yeah, I'm totally fine with it. If my partner decides he wants to go, well, he can foot his own bill, but I think there is a recognition that it isn't easy sometimes what we do or the amount of times that we are away from, and the things that we do just like on Saturdays or whatever, but yeah, just something to think about.
Do we have a motion on the floor?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Any other discussion on that motion? All in favor? Carried. All right, 3.-3. That was the same thing we talked about. That was just the councillor or
Yeah, this is the next policy,
Convention.
so there's 3 policies
Yeah.
together. So this is policy 3-3, Councillor Appointees Reimbursement. So this is the members at large. This is what they get paid, and then you wanted it removed, anything regarding partner programs and spouse pay.
everybody understand that one? Or Councillor Olson?
I would make the motion then that policy 3-3, counselor appointees reimbursement as presented.
Questions, concerns? All in favor? Carried. 7.4?
7.5.
7.5.
7.5, perfect. Okay, so thank you, council. I bring you bylaw 1930, the procedure bylaw. Before you today is the most recent draft of the procedural bylaw, including the proposed amendments. Council had multiple opportunities to review these amendments, including at 2 committee of the whole meetings, the March 10th council meeting, and most recently, the May 12th council meeting, where first reading was passed as amended. Attachment A has been included for your reference and provides detailed breakdown of each proposed change along with the rationale behind those amendments. Since the last update, there has been one key change. Under section 14, meetings by electronic means, council directed administration to remove location-based requirements for electronic participation. So under the revised approach, members may now participate electronically regardless of their location. However, participation is limited to a maximum of 2 consecutive regular council meetings, unless otherwise authorized by resolution of council. Council options today are as follows. Number 1, proceed with second and third reading, or make further amendments and proceed with second reading as amended, and bring back to a future council meeting for a third reading. And that concludes my report. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Okay. I think we've beat this up enough. Yeah, Councillor Cunningham.
Yeah, we've had really great discussion, and that's important, so I'm happy to make the motion that council approve second and third readings to bylaw 1930.
Just a point of order, you can only make one reading at a time.
Yeah, let's go.
Just for second reading.
Oh, I was reading it like it was in my, sorry, yeah, okay.
You're making a motion for second reading?
Yes, sorry, I was reading how it was worded in the package, yeah, thank you.
Questions?
We're just for second reading?
Or second reading?
No, just for second reading.
Yeah. Any questions, concerns? All in favor? Carried? Councillor Anderson.
I recommend that council provide third and final reading to bylaw 1930, that being a bylaw for purpose of regulating and meeting proceedings for council and council committee meetings.
Questions? Councillor Olson?
Yeah, just with regards to what's happened recently and the Councillor Woodstock is not here, and he did have questions, he had a lot of questions with some of these things. I'm maybe not in favor of voting on this at this time, but that's just my personal opinion. Thank you.
Councillor Cunningham?
I did also mention that this morning to a member of council, and because I want to be very cognizant of that. I don't want to speak for Councillor Woodstock, but my feeling was when we talked about it, he was pretty happy with the way it had gone. But again, I don't want to speak for him, but if council feels they want to wait until he is back, I'm fine with that as well. So we could table it or whatever council wishes.
The concern that Councillor Woodstock had was the actual, the location of the meetings. That's been addressed, and he was approved of that. I understand this tough time and everything, but I still think that we still got to go through business as we do, so it's up to you guys what you want to do. Yeah, Carolyn.
I just want to make a point of order that if you guys go through this vote and with what you're saying, you don't feel that it's right that he's not here for that final vote, that means the bylaw is repealed or not, it's defeated. And then I would have to bring this bylaw all the way back again. So if you're thinking of dropping it or not doing it today, then I would say drop the motion and then bring it back to a future council meeting.
Like I said, it's a tough one, but I think we should go forward.
I do believe that Jerry did, at the point of the last meeting, say that he was in favor with what was said. Now, I'm not gonna, if you want to drop the motion, I'm fine with that too.
Councillor Hopkins.
I feel out of respect for Jerry and his family, Councillor Woodstock and his family. I know we want to get business done, but at the same time, this isn't an emergency issue, so I would be more inclined to drop the motion. And we can make this motion real quick at the next council meeting.
Councillor Anderson.
That being said, I'll drop the motion.
You don't have to table it. We'll just bring it back to the next meeting for third reading.
Perfect, thank you.
Thanks. 7.6, Kneehill Regional Partnership.
All right, I bring you the Kneehill Regional Partnership item. So at the last committee of the whole meeting, there was a discussion about bringing this matter forward to today's council agenda. At that time, a councillor raised the idea of bringing policing forward as a potential regional initiative to the Kneehill Regional Partnership. Under the KRP agreement, any project that is proposed must be supported by a resolution of council from at least one participating municipality. In addition, the project must be regional in nature and address an issue that cannot reasonably be managed through existing ICF processes or other agreements. When this was initially discussed, the concept was fairly high level and not clearly defined. So if council wishes to move this forward to the KRP, we will need to further define the desired outcome and clearly establish the scope of the project prior to the June 10th KRP meeting. Lastly, council should also consider whether Kneehill County is prepared to act as a lead municipality for this initiative. Historically, the municipality that brings a project forward is expected to take a lead role in advancing the work. And at this time, administration does not yet have a clear understanding of what that project would involve. And as a result, we are unable to determine whether we have the capacity to take on that role at this time. So that concludes my comments. I'd be happy to answer any questions or take direction from council.
Yeah, I'm not real confident here on what this is going to be other than a discussion at the committee level. Just off the top of my head, I'm not in favor of the county starting a police force. Like, that's just going to break us. But, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, I can't think Councillor Olson brought this forward that he wanted to discuss this with, or we should discuss it with the other committee or members. Councillor Olson?
Yeah, I don't know that it would break us. How do we know that? We haven't done full analysis on policing generally within Kneehill and all the municipalities that, so I think if there's other questions being asked from other municipalities, then obviously I just think due diligence tells us that we should have discussion on the economics of, and possibly, you know, hybrid systems of policing, or just to have the discussion, make sure. Like, I understand what you're saying, but how can you prove that, Reeve McCook?
I really can't prove it. but I can tell you what it costs to run the county mounties. Councillor Penner?
I don't disagree with either part of those two conversations. I think what our main consideration here is that for the administration to provide us a comprehensive report by the June the 10th meeting, I think is probably an incredibly short timeline to ask them to develop a process. So I wonder whether it doesn't make more sense for us just to accept this report as information at this point, and maybe after this KRP meeting, when we meet with the other municipalities, we can flesh out a few details in a more informal setting, or in that setting to further pursue this issue.
I got no problem with that. But I mean, like, to go and spend money to set up a committee or whatever to do this, especially if we haven't talked to these guys yet. Like, if you're gonna go to the meeting and, you know, I agree with that, flushing them out and talking to them and seeing where they're sitting, like the towns and villages. I'll guarantee you that, you know, that's no problem. Councillor Olson?
I don't think I guess maybe I, was maybe misspoke, but I wasn't trying to add it as a new committee. I was looking for, which committees we have that could just have the discussion, and maybe there's possible savings somewhere and possible get better representation too. I don't know that to be true. I'm not saying that I do know that either. That's why I'm saying, I think, why not have a reasonable discussion and dissection of that whole area, seeing as it's costing us a pile of money for county and other municipalities within the county.
I don't see a problem with when you're meeting with these guys to discuss that or have that on the table, you know. Councillor Penner?
I guess with that, then I would recommend that council receive this report for information at this time.
Any discussion, concerns on that?
And that doesn't even need a vote. That's just a
No.
recommendation.
No, I'm just, yeah. Councillor Cunningham?
So just to clarify then, this item you wouldn't want Councillor Hoppins to take to the Kneehill Regional Partnership for contemplation?
Councillor Olson?
We're not presenting anything. We're just asking for, and to ask other municipalities if they want discussion on this or not. That's all I'm just saying, let's, so I don't know if we're not making any resolutions, we're not, we're just bringing the aspect of what
Just
could
bringing
be
it-
or couldn't be. Yeah, just
Just bring it forth in discussion.
that's
With
all,
whoever
that's
you wanna
all,
talk about.
that's right.
I'm in favor of that. That's what it's about. Everybody okay with that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm good with that. We'll have a discussion at the KRP, and if they wanted to make it further, you usually need a council resolution to bring a project forward, then we could just bring it back and provide you guys details of what they said at the KRP and then go from there.
Okay. Good?
I'm good with that. Yeah.
Yep. Everybody okay? Councillor Anderson, you okay with that? Okay.
Oh, we need a vote on the receive for information. A vote to receive for information on this. Hi, me again. So earlier today, we heard from the representatives from the Wimborne Community Hall. They are requesting $20,000 in grant funding to assist with their proposed hall renovations. The application is before you and provides an overview of the project and outlines the funding being requested. In terms of available funding, the county has $70,000 budgeted for these types of requests. To date, we have allocated $5,750 to other projects in 2026, leaving a remaining balance of $64,250. As council may recall, I presented a pie chart at the last meeting, which shows the overall distribution of the grant funding or of the total budget. And I have an updated one here. So approximately $47,100 is tied up in applications currently under review, which represents about 60% of the total budget. It's important to note that the Wimborne Community Hall request is one of the larger requests we have received. Over the past 10 years, the county has provided this organization with approximately $39,000 in grant funding. Council's options today are to approve the funding in the amount requested, or to approve funding in a different amount, or third is deny the request and receive the item for information. That concludes my report.
Councillor Olson.
So this question will be for administration. So these three requests that we've heard today, are they included in the $47,000 applications under review?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Councillor Hopkins.
Just more discussion on this topic. Like I've said before, I like it when I see community members come together and keep a facility up and running, and it's all ran by volunteers, and it's a lot of work goes into it. And these community halls wouldn't be in operation without them. And I also have to remind myself that this money that they're requesting for the Wimborne Community Hall, it's their grant, it's their tax money that they're asking for. So we need to consider that as well, that this is their money, basically. Some of it is their money. How much we have remaining available for the remainder of the year, we're basically almost halfway through the year, and I'm not sure when the remaining applications will come in, but I don't know how many others will be coming forward. It's tough to say. I guess the other question that I do have for administration, and maybe you know off the top of your head, of the allocation amount of $70,000 in the past, have we ever gone over that?
Like I said, we've combined all the grants into one now. So at one time, I think we did go over on community grants, and we pulled money from other grant programs that weren't fully utilized into that. But now we've combined all the funding into one grant. So it's, like I said, it's new for all of us, new for administration and new for council. So it's a place we've never been before.
Well, I guess I got a concern on the dollar amount. I mean, I'm a little leery, like, I don't mind giving the money, and I agree, but I mean, these are taxpayers' dollars, and it's everybody's dollars. But our other communities, you know, are we gonna have enough money for other communities if they come in? You know what I'm saying? Like, I understand they wanna get a project, their project's done, they wanna get compensated for it. I understand that, but do we have to give them the full amount, or where's the balancing act, or is there even one? You just come in and get your money, and then once it's gone, it's gone. Councillor Olson.
Yeah, it does seem like a large amount. I guess we don't, in our, funding policy, we don't have a limit. I just, do we have, what's the largest, amount we've given out in the past? Is there any idea, Caroline, something that comes to mind? Like,
Yeah, we did provide them $17,500 back a couple years ago. So like, there's always been different kind of grants, like the Acme Gymnasium, we gave $100,000 to that, but that came through council contingency funding. So that wasn't through the grant program. I'd have to look back, sorry, I don't have that answer for you on what the highest grant we've ever given.
I guess we'll let it roll. Like, the concern, like, I know everybody's got some of the concerns that I have, but, I mean, there's still money available for these guys to come in. Councillor Hopkins.
I move that council approve the funding in the amount of $20,000 to the Wimborne Community Center to help assist in the costs associated with the renovation project of the Wimborne Community Center.
Questions or concerns? Councillor Cunningham.
Yeah, this has been a very proactive group, and you can tell how much work they've done on their own, but just kind of in reference to what the Reeve mentioned, I guess I would just recommend to people, if you're thinking about putting a grant request in, do it sooner rather than later. Like, there is a pot of money that we have, and when it's gone, it's gone. So we're trying to, I think, put it to different organizations, but that being said, get your name in and get in here soon.
Any other questions, concerns? All in favor? Opposed? 3? Okay, geez, I was gonna say 3. Okay, carried, yeah. Uh, 8.2, Linden Society for the Seniors.
Thank you. So the preamble is the same as the last agenda item. We heard from the representatives of the Linden Benevolent Society for Seniors. They are requesting $6,500 in grant funding to assist in roof repairs. The application before you provides an overview of the project and outlines the funding being requested. Here is the updated pie chart now that we've approved the $20,000. In grant funding to the Wimborne Community Hall. Council's options today is to approve the funding in the amount requested, 2, approve funding in a different amount, or 3, deny the request and receive the item for information.
Questions?
I'm sorry, Council Administration, could you clarify? They're asking for $6,500.
Yes, in their grant application, they have written down $6,500, and I see where your confusion is, because I believe Ms. Coggins said $6,000. So I'm just going by from what their application was.
Okay. Okay.
Councillor Olson.
Yeah, I'd be in favor of this. Anything we can do for the seniors and centers. Seems like our seniors, I got a complaint just recently, that, they're on fixed incomes and they're suffering. Yeah, any way we can help out for their stuff, I'm for. So I would go ahead and make the motion that council approve funding in the amount of $6,500 to the Linden Benevolent Society to assist in the cost of repairing their roof.
Questions or concerns? All in favor? Carried. Okay, Trochu District and Hall Development.
All right, so we heard earlier from Mr. Vokins, the Trochu Hall is requesting $5,000 in grant funding to assist in upgrading the hall's sound system. The application is before you, and here is the updated pie chart. And council's options today is to approve the funding in the amount requested, approve funding in a different amount, or deny the request and receive the item for information.
Councillor Wilson.
So he's just asking for 5,000? Okay, because he did talk about there was a deficit of 20,000, but yeah, okay. Just clarifying, thank you.
One of the concerns I have is that the town of Trochu hasn't got back to him. That bothers me in a way, but, I mean, maybe they haven't got time, right? I know where they're coming from, and those guys work too. They've gone out and they've done some fundraising and stuff, but I mean, the town of Trochu hasn't stepped up yet to this one. So that bothers me a little bit, but. Councillor Olson.
Yeah, in that, I agree, I think they should, but that's up to them, but, I like the presentation that was presented. This is a gentleman that's put in a lot of time, you can tell. He's not asking for the full poke here. He's asking for, 25%, and he said they're still gonna do other fundraising and whatever else so I think it's quite a, reasonable ask on their part. And I think it's an important part of the, Kneehill, area, so, yeah, thanks.
Councillor Cunningham.
Yeah, I mean, like I said earlier, I've attended a lot of events there, and a lot of our Kneehill County residents use that facility, and yeah, like I said too, the sound system does need to be repaired. It does need some TLC, so I will make the motion that council approve funding in the amount of 5,000 to the Trochu District Hall Development Society to assist in upgrading the sound system in the Trochu Hall.
Questions or concerns? Councillor Anderson?
I agree in that they didn't ask for it all in one place.
Any other questions or concerns? All in favor? Carried. Are we just about done other than this one?
Butterfly report?
Hey. Council and committee reports. 9.1, Division 5. We have a mic thing.
Got about half an hour.
Yeah, we can.
Oh yeah,
click
you're gonna
the mic
mute
off.
me, aren't you? Now they got this new toy they're playing. Mr. Nyman, we need to have something done over here. Well, anyways, okay, I digress. So quickly, attended an FCSS meeting in the last couple of weeks. I believe Ms. Vanderkool will have more information coming to the next council meeting, June council meeting. There is a multi-municipal agreement that we have with Kneehill Regional FCSS, all the municipalities that participate. That is to be reviewed in January, so we're a little behind in that. I thought at our last meeting we would go through that a bit more fully, but there were some changes that the other municipalities wanted to take back to their CEOs. So I just ask that everybody around the table, I believe Ms. Vanderkool did send you the agreement with the proposed changes that I know Ms. Cochran had worked on, and so I'll just need feedback for that because that's a council decision on that agreement. So also attended virtually an FCSS spring meeting that was held in Rimbey. That was the day of the beautiful dust storm, so I decided to stay home and attend it. So again, same thing across the board. People are struggling with funding, less funding from the province. There was some guest speakers that attended, and again, the theme of the day was rural volunteers and how that makes our communities happen here. So I think we're all aware of that even from this morning. So Last Saturday, I attended a Community Futures Board Retreat at Rosebud, which was amazing. We did lender training in the morning, and you've heard me say it before, but I just encourage anybody that's looking for a loan, whether you're an existing business or a new one, give Community Futures a call, because she kind of has a pie chart where the banks look at criteria for a loan. Community Futures flips it upside down, and character and business plans are maybe held in a little bit more regard than maybe the banks do. So there also is a Community Futures Wild Rose AGM on June 18th at Acme. There's going to be a tour of Acme School, Sunterra Farmers Market, and then the AGM. And again, I believe Ms. Vanderkool sent council that invitation, because I believe everybody is invited. So yeah, just let us know about that. And then I just wanted to say that Golden Hills Lodge is hosting a barbecue lunch on June 3rd at 11:30. That's Seniors Week in our communities. They're gonna have a country jam, so if you wanna put on your cowboy boots, Reeve, and go and have a little shindig with the seniors, you're welcome to. I never, well, I won't go any farther than that. You're over 55, I'm guessing, but anyhow, yeah, so that's June 3rd at 11:30, so, yeah, if you're able to attend, that'd be great, so, that's it.
Thank you, Councillor Cunningham, for that short discussion. It was great. It was good. Anybody else have anything before we adjourn? Oh, everybody have a look at the action list?
Don't see any
I didn't see any concerns on there. Oh, wait a minute, Councillor Cunningham.
The only question, I don't even know if it should be on the list somewhere, but I know you folks did an engagement on the Linden Road project, and I was just curious, like, what the attendance was like for that engagement.
Through the chair, attendance was a little lower than expected, but the people that did show up had very good questions and answered a lot of questions that came from that, so.
Oh, the other thing, and this is to do with Councillor Olson, or from Anderson, Trios Capital, Tim Sherlaw. Have we seen anything from him yet?
Yes, we received a letter from the Three Hills Capital. It was in our council correspondence last week, sent on Friday.
Any other concerns? Meeting adjourned.